Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday encounter in life of an aspect. If you've been following me on my channel, just to give you an overview of what I've been doing basically the neurodiversity series as well as the empathetic series based on basically on the autistic spectrum of if autistics are empathetic or not, as well as the neurodiversity series, which basically touched on the definition, basically also the autism rights movement, what I found about it in my research and whatnot, which I'm hoping to just take a step back on that one for a moment, because there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of recent debates about what it's all about of all this, so to speak, and that hopefully one day we'll be able to gain a better understanding throughout every topics that I have been bringing out to you all regardless. And I'm hoping that, as I said many times before, that I'm going to be an encouragement and enlightenment to you all in a way of a stepping stone to maybe how to address to you all how to handle people with autism or whatnot, as well as just maybe people in general that has different conditions that comes out and about, so that we can know the signs and stuff, because that's the main purpose of my channel as well, health and awareness pretty much, which I'm basically hoping to base it on health, and hopefully later on in the piece I'm going to let you know what's going on based on my everyday journey with my book, as well as I said basically, because at this point in time there are going to be a few changes, so like I said, keep your eyes peeled on that. So in all further ado, this is another series that I'm hoping to address to you all sort of thing in the next probably 2-3 weeks, hopefully, just to hopefully help out with the teens. This one's for the teens, yeah, like mid-teens to maybe about in the early 20s sort of thing. This one's basically going to be based on like the drug-free series, even though I've already done some based on real shortly in the piece about this in my series on the like addiction series of drugs, alcohol, marijuana and the like, but I'm hoping now to further address, now to at least maybe to the teens part of it, to get more in depth and hopefully to be an encouragement and enlightenment to basically share on what's going to happen pretty much of the signs and symptoms, and hopefully maybe if they're, you know, doing it, that they can hopefully seek help before it's too late, so to speak, because like I've noticed that so many people, especially in the young teens, mimic people's actions, trying to fit in, trying to blend in, and whatever reasons they may be doing all these recreational drugs, alcohol and the like, just to maybe do that, or maybe they're not telling us in a way that there's something going on in their lives that they're finding it difficult. We need to support them and actually be of relevance to them in one way or another, of a, you know, leading by example, as I believe, you know, leading by example in a way where they can actually know that they feel safe and not going to be judged or misunderstood by others around them, even though everyone has been through maybe similar, you know, experiences what they've been through, and maybe like I shared, we can be a light to them and actually bring out messages of hope, that saying that they're not alone, and also that they can basically move on forward with the right help and support networks that's out there. So in all further ado, this is the drug-free series that I'm hoping to address to you all. So this is part 1 of the introductory. So here goes. As we know, there is a lot of drugs around, as well as alcohol around these days, as well as all these other peer pressures that young teens has to get involved in. As you know, basically, when there comes a time and a point in our lives we feel that we're down and out, we just feel that we need to reach out to the nearest thing, be it a recreational drug of speed and all those, or another one is alcohol, or even just going on a high with the marijuana, cocaine and the like. Whatever reasons that is there, we need to stop and think to why we're doing it. You know, is it for fun, or is it just to fit in and blend in? Is it just to ease off the pain that we're carrying, or some sort of, you know, physical pain we're feeling that we just can't shake off, or even just the pain in general of the emotional? Because obviously, as we know, you know, alcohol and drugs can be really tempting. Sometime in our life, however, when this is happening based on the drugs, and that everyone has their choices, good or bad, based on this in everyday other situations that I'm addressing to you today. We need to be aware though, despite these choices, it can reflect on basically the future as well as our present sort of thing. But, you know, we need to realise also the choices we make can affect others around us, you know. We need to be able to, you know, defend ourselves and be smart and wise into what we're doing, regardless what it may be. We need to know the facts also when it comes down to either drug taking, alcohol taking, or whatnot. you may be asking yourselves maybe some questions that's revolving around your head sort of thing, or even asking me, how am I going to get rid of this, feeling, where do I stand in all this, how do I make the right choices for myself, what is best for me, Kieran, and all the like. The list of questions grows continuously on as a big list, as I would like to just address to those main questions that maybe think. I know it's not easy to say no when it comes down to peer pressure or no to taking drugs, but you can make a stand. You actually know that you're valuable, you're more than those drugs, you're more than that addiction of the alcohol, whatever. Okay, think for example, for a moment right now, with this example that I'm going to address to you. If a friend was offering you drugs or alcohol and everyone is egging you on, sort of thing, you're banging on at you, go for it, you don't know what you're missing, and all those sort of things, or you have to try, it's a great feeling, you'll be high for the next, and you don't want to look like you can't handle it, so forth, so the temptation comes in and you just thought, yeah, I'll take it anyway. Because you feel like if you don't, you're rejecting your friends, you're rejecting what they have to say to you, and then you think that you're not going to be the cool dude in the next particular Playboy magazine, or next macho man in the next fitness magazine, or for a female next, top model, be it whatever it may be that we envision in our lives. What you do you do, or can you do it in this type of situation that you're in? You need to think to yourselves while you're doing it. Even though drugs and alcohol ain't for you, the desire you feel to fit in is really tempting, so you go ahead and, like I said, try them and use them. Question is people sway on it, will I or won't I do these, recreational drugs? Will I or won't I want to use them and then forget about the consequences until later on after taking these drugs, Then again, maybe you associate using, just a little of alcohol drugs won't affect me in any way. Just to have a good time. It's okay to, as I said to myself, it's okay to, take alcohol for a little bit at a time, knowing our limitations, sort of thing. Even though we know the side effects of drugs and alcohol. Maybe you hear your friends say it can't hurt you as long as you use just a little, and maybe that's okay then that you just start to use. Or perhaps you've already used drugs or alcohol in the past, however, and you know that it's okay and it's affecting you to the point that you're thinking it's time to stop. But you already are chemically dependent, which is the word addicted. Excuse me. Maybe you're having a serious problem using and you want to stop, but you already, I'm sorry to say that, sorry guys, you don't know what to do at that moment or where to turn. Maybe you have a family or friend who has this problem. So like I said, the key issue here that I want to address to you all is to know the signs and symptoms as I'm sharing all this to you. Basically, who has a problem and you don't know where to turn. Maybe you have a family or friend and you have no idea how to deal with it. You're not alone. As I said, there are many people out there that has been using with these, drugs, alcohol for long periods of time. Again, you should know the facts, or know the facts anyway. Don't be so naive, even if you're making the choices for yourself or they're trying to make the choices for themselves, You will have to defend your position so as to keep it that way. We live in a world today where drugs and alcohol are always readily available, however, and where the stigma of using has all but evaporated, the sobering reality that 49% of teens will experiment drugs and alcohol, and most of these, nearly 34%, will become casual users. Of those, 28% will come to have a problem. In other words, they will become chemically dependent. Don't be fooled by the myth, it will not happen to me, because obviously it will happen. Or another excuse that I hear, or reasoning behind it, is I can stop when I want to, and besides, I only use just a little. No one starts but saying, I'd like to become chemically dependent, however. No one ever intends to become an addict. Again, be smart, understand how alcohol and drugs work and the warning signs. Doing what it takes to stay drug and alcohol free isn't all that easy in today's times, however. You'll want to be open to all the support you can get with this goal if you really want to get off the drugs and alcohol train of the addiction. Has someone reached out to help you when you felt overwhelmed and helped you cope with any situation that you were facing at the time that led to you being chemically dependent, alcohol dependent? Have others shared themselves their insights and information to help you deal with this problem or to answer some questions in your life on your own? On some days, especially those when you're not quite so sure what to do next or where the help is, or we need the help doing what we know is right for us, we could all use each other's support, however. We know it's not always easy, as I said, being a teenager, however. We know it does take determination and courage to meet our busy, hectic schedules that we have in our lives, be it schooling, be it work, be it if we were in a relationship, be it basically we just solely rely on the drugs and alcohol alone just to ease off the burden. If we ended up losing a job, for example, or we end up losing a friend due to, maybe suicide, here's an example, or just lost a friend along the way that they didn't want to become friends with us because of our attitudes and how we thought we weren't the problem when we were solely relying on the drugs and alcohol. And obviously they say sometimes the drugs and alcohol is a demon and also an enemy, and also some may argue with me that drugs and alcohol is a friend of theirs. It keeps them happy, it keeps them in check, it keeps them basically in the loop of things. But we can all make it and do it. The most difficult part of life is managing our feelings and emotions in relation to all of what's going on. Doing it with this of the audience of peers, watching most of whom are trying to understand their own feelings and emotions as well, can make it through and make it all more trying. But you know that you can survive your feelings. What's more, you and I can face them, feel them, and deal with them in an open and honest way. Obviously, like I said, there's a positive and negative way of how we address our feelings and emotions and how we talk to people. Don't believe the myth that alcohol or drugs will help you manage your pain or manage your life. Bigger, better, quicker slogan. You know the sell job. Drugs can alter your feelings, give you courage and self-confidence, and make your fears, stress, anxiety go away is another myth. And because it's somewhat acceptable within your peer group, however, using can even make you seem like you're bonded with the others and therefore you're not alone. And like you in one of the group, hip, willing to be extreme, in a word called radical. Fortunately, you know better than to buy into the sell scene or just the myth, because the truth of it all is there is a price and a toll to pay for altering your body's chemistry via alcohol and drugs. Take the time to know exactly what the price is so that we can learn to balance the pain and strain of our emotions in a healthier way without using chemicals to do it. Learning how to cope effectively with the hectic and stressful and boring and uncool times in life, real life. The more we build a storehouse of positive experiences of seeing ourselves as successfully handling our difficult times in positive ways, the better able we are to handle the tough times as well as handling with others around us. Many of us teenagers can handle the day-to-day struggles of life, some strains, stresses, pressures, problems. The list goes on, however. All these can be too much for anyone to handle alone. No one expects you to go it alone, nor should you. Friends are supposed to be there throughout the good and bad times, regardless if you're using or not. Well, that basically ends my introduction of the drug-free series. Please give me the like for the thumbs up, basically, as well as just the thumbs up if you're engaging with me, and also feel free to maybe comment below to see if you want me to actually address to you all some other important issues that I'm hoping to address and encourage and enlighten, sort of thing. Or even just share your life experiences basically below on the comments section while I'm doing these series, so that hopefully we can touch base with everyone sort of thing around us that, saying that they're not alone doing what they're doing of these chemicals and drugs and whatnot sort of thing. Subscribe to my channel basically. Also visit my SB Answers World page if you have to, or follow me on Twitter. basically. And also, like, you know, if you feel on your heart to share something privately, you know, private message me, you know. You're not, like I said, you're not alone. I'm here to support others, hopefully, and be an alignment somehow. So, and all for the day, have a good day, and I'll see you all soon.